Cover your motherfucking ear.
I think we should just kind of get to business here. I think we should get started and talk about the Intellivision.
Let's do it. Yeah.
So let's just kind of shake things up a little bit here with the way we do this. What is your history with the Intellivision console?
This week I played it a bunch. No, so like I had played it obviously, 30 years ago, 40 years ago, at this point. And I didn't know anybody who had one. I think I had gone to like some family friend's house and there was a video game system there and I played it and I was like, well, it's not as cool as like the Coleco, and like really never thought about it again. None of my friends growing up were like Intellivision, like they weren't longing for the days of Intellivision, right? Like
they weren't Intellivision sympathizers.
Yeah, like my one buddy was like a big Atari kid, so like I would go over, that's where I played all the Atari games. So I went to my buddy Nick's house, but like I didn't know anybody that like still had an Intellivision set up, and it wasn't until years and years later through like talking to you and being like, oh, I guess I should check out this thing he fucking talks about every now and again, and then like shmemulating and whatnot. So yeah, really honestly just not a ton of experience with it.
Same here. Intellivision's always been a blind spot for me. I never really knew it existed when I was a kid, because we're just kind of at the age where we're a bit past when the Intellivision was really being advertised.
Yeah.
So I learned about it, when I got a bit older. When I worked at Funcoland, I was able to obtain my first Intellivision. I realized today that I currently own 5 Intellivision consoles.
That's too many really Intellivisions.
Because I have never played an actual Intellivision until today.
Yeah.
I amassed these things, and then I never turned one on. I have never actually played. I've played a couple of Intellivision games via shmemulation over the years.
Yeah.
Not for very long. But just because the console itself has never properly interested me. It's interesting from the standpoint of like this was a counterpoint to the Atari 2600 in a lot of ways.
Right.
But the games themselves never really jumped out at me. So like I've played them on collections here and there and been like, yeah, I just don't know about this one. So today was my first time properly playing an Intellivision. I took one of my Intellivisions and I connected it and it didn't work. And then I took another of my Intellivisions and connected it and didn't work. And then I wound up using the so I've got 3 Intellivisions, one Intellivision 2 and one Telegames. What the heck's that called? The Telegames Super Video Arcade. Mm-hmm. The Super Video Arcade is cool because the controllers are detachable, which is nice.
Yeah.
Whereas the regular one, they're hardwired. But I wasn't able to get it to read any of my games. Like I got that one to power on, but I couldn't get it to read games. I think if I had futzed with it a little bit longer, I would have been able to get it working. Because it seems to work fine. It's just, also the video signal was really poor because there's something with while the controllers aren't hardwired, the AV wire, unlike the regular Intellivision, is hardwired. So that one, I just wasn't getting a good signal out of. So I wound up using my Intellivision 2, which one of the controllers wasn't working. So I took the controller from the Super Video Arcade and used that in my Intellivision 2. The video signal was great. I played it on my CRT back there. And
that's the white one, right?
The Intellivision 2, it's smaller, it's
the white one.
It's really nice looking system. The discs on the controllers are much better when they work. They were the one wasn't working at all, and then the second controller was working pretty sporadically. I have to say that all in all, it was a pretty wretched experience. This is probably the worst controller I've ever held in my life. And while the games themselves, I played some games that I had a lot of fun with today.
Yeah.
Except for the fact that the controllers are just terrible. They're just absolutely awful. So I was able to play.
I don't remember.
Go ahead.
I was going to say, I don't remember the ColecoVision number pad thing being nearly as bad as the Intellivision.
It's not as the ColecoVision's much more solid. The controller is a lot more solid. These are very, very thin.
Yeah.
The weird membrane kind of number pad was not. It hasn't aged well, and I mean that literally. Like they just haven't aged very well.
Yeah.
Of the games that made my list, 3 of them are ones that I actually have the cartridges for. Unlike the Atari one, I didn't bring them over here because there's no artwork on the cartridges. Like even on the camera, you just see me holding up a little black rectangle. So I decided to skip that. Skip that for this.
I was going to say I might have a black rectangle I could go grab real quick. Hold on, and here's one of my favorite. I mean, there's a brown rectangle, but oh wait, no, I have a black rectangle. This for all you non-video people. I'm holding up. No, I'm not actually. I'm not even going to lie. It's fine. I don't have any black rectangles out here, I don't think. No. Anyway, doesn't matter.
Fresh out of rectangles. Yeah, it doesn't matter. So yeah, I can honestly say, having spent several hours with the Intellivision, I really don't care for it. And I don't see myself going back to it very often for the rest of my days. I mean, it's taken me all this time to boot up an actual Intellivision, and that controller is exactly as crappy as I expected it to be. But I really like the notion behind it with the overlays, because I have the overlays for all my games, and that was really cool. It was kind of cool because like on some things you put in the overlay, but you can't feel where the buttons are on the overlay. So you got to look down all the time to just make sure you're pressing in the right direction. And that was really kind of annoying for certain things. Like, it's a neat idea, the overlays, but I just don't know. I think this system was very ill-conceived. This controller was very ill-conceived. The system itself is very interesting. The way the games look, the way they sound. It was definitely more powerful than the 2600, though I think the 2600... I feel like a lot of the games that I played that were on this and 2600, I like the 2600 versions better.
Yeah, that's fair, I think.
But, anywho's, I am not a fan of the Intellivision, but it was a crazy good learning experience. Like I played a bunch of games, I tried a bunch of things out. I tried a lot of games that I saw on, like the best of lists for Intellivision, and been like, yeah, I'm sorry, I don't like this at all. Like, there's a couple of like easy picks on mine, but there were a couple of ones that you would think would have been higher, or like that should have appeared on my list that just didn't, because I played them and I thought, this is fine, but
yeah.
So anyway,
with that being said,
do you want me to go first?
Well, I was going to say, what letter does your first game start with?
Mine starts with A. This is the one game that I knew for sure was going to be here when I started.
Okay, well, you get to start us off then, because my first one is a B. What do you got?
Oh.
I'm pretty sure. Best.
No, my A is Astro Smash.
That's what I thought, yeah.
I love Astro Smash. I love Astro Blast more, which is the Atari 2600 version of this game.
Right.
By M Network, which is technically Mattel.
Yeah.
The Atari 2600 port I like better. It's much faster, but the Intellivision version, well, it doesn't move as smooth, and I don't think it sounds as good as the Atari one's got a crazy good sound. The fact that everything is smaller and more spread out makes the game a lot more playable. Like, I was able to get farther into it than I typically was in the Atari game, because the Atari one is so fast. But that's part of its charm. But that said, I really enjoyed my time with Astro Smash. I thought that was I'd play the Intellivision version of this before via shmemulation, and the disc wasn't terrible with this one because you're just moving left and right. So yeah. I mean, for anybody who's never played Astro Smash, it's kind of like, I guess the best way to explain it would be kind of like a cross between Asteroids and Space Invaders. So like, you move a ship like Space Invaders, but the asteroids are falling down. And when you shoot them, sometimes they split up into smaller ones. And when they hit the ground, it doesn't kill you, it just costs you points. So the more you blow up everything, the more points you get, and the fewer points you lose. And there are also these like atomic bombs and these like guided missiles that'll come down at you that make these, loud noises and whatnot, and you got to blow those up, because if the atomic bombs hit the ground, then you die, or if the heat-seeking missile hits you, you die. But it's a neat game. The way that the background changes colors, I found very jarring. So when you score a certain number of points, you like kind of level up, and it changes the background colors to like these really garish colors. The game looks pretty solid when it's black in the background, but when it's like purple, it's just I don't know. It doesn't quite work.
I mean, I see what you were going for, but the black is just easier to read and therefore play, right? Like,
and look like space.
Which is what you want in your Vigi game.
So I don't know. Astro Smash is a great time.
Don't fucking start yawning now, Chris. We're 10 minutes in. Should I be recording this?
The thing I will say about my list is that I largely avoided multi-platform stuff, and not including stuff that started on Intellivision and then wound up getting ported elsewhere. Like arcade ports is something that I kind of avoided, and I suspect in a few seconds we'll be talking about that. So why don't you go ahead and take your turn, and we'll go from there.
Well, the first game on my list is one that prove you wrong, is actually one that I did just discover this week. Like I had just, for whatever reason, had assumed that it was just something very different than what it was and never really spent any time with it at all. But that would be iMagic's Beauty and the Beast.
Oh, that's a good pick. I like that one. I considered it.
It's pretty fun.
It didn't quite make the base. Yeah,
it's pretty fun. Like I had a good time with it. So I think it kind of gets unfairly labeled like a Donkey Kong like, and I mean I guess that is what it is, but it's also I feel like it's just a pretty different experience as you're playing through. It's so much faster than Donkey Kong. There is some similarity with the jumping over obstacles, but so for those of you who don't know Beauty and the Beast, you start off as a dude named Buford, which is like
not enough people named Buford these days.
There's just enough people named Buford, I believe. Whatever that number is, I think it's just not enough, if not high, if we're being honest. But your character's name is Buford, and you must scale up the old mutton building to rescue your girl Mabel from a so he looks like Non from the Superman 2.
Yep, that he does.
That's 100% what he looks like. That is not what he is. He is a beast. He just looks like a big bearded burly Kryptonian. But he's holding your very blue girlfriend at the top of this building. But the gimmick here is that you only go up 4 stories at a time, and you can only go up levels when the window is open. There's not like ladders or anything. It doesn't really make a ton of sense. And it starts off like pretty slow and pretty easy because Mabel like throws hearts down at you that make you invincible, and like there's like fireballs and shit coming down or whatever to get in your way. And you can get through the first building pretty quick, and like you scale up the 4 floors, and then you get to the top, and the beast falls from the top, and a helicopter comes to rescue you and Mabel. Great. Then you go to the next building, which is basically essentially the same building, but it gets crazier and faster and more shit on the screen. And as you progress through the game, it does get to be pretty fucking fun and pretty challenging. I was really pleasantly surprised with this one.
Yeah, I messed around with this a little bit today, and I'd played a version of this in the past. I like it. It is, it is a take on the Donkey Kong formula. I think it's an interesting one. I don't think it does Donkey Kong as well as Donkey Kong does, but it's certainly better than Donkey Kong for Intellivision. So,
yeah, that's true.
And also, this is one of those kinds of games that playing this with the disc was a wretched experience. Just not okay. And I will have you know that the controller that I used was one that was functioning properly. It's just, it's just not good. But no, that's a solid pick. That's not what I thought. I thought you were going to go with Burger Time.
Oh no, that's the next game on my list. Spoilers.
Okay, all right. Yeah. Then we'll get there. Because we're just taking turns, right? We're not just going overall alphabetical.
Yeah. No, Now you just go back to you. Yeah, Beauty and the Beast. It's a cool game. I had never, like I said, I had never played it. I, for whatever reason, thought it was associated with the television show, which makes no sense because the game came out way before the Ron Perlman TV show. But in my mind, like as I was looking at you know, ROMs and whatnot, I was like, oh, fuck, Beauty and the... Ew. I don't want to play that. That show sucked. Can't imagine it's any good on the Intellivision. Yeah.
Well, yeah. Hold on, I'm checking something.
I will not.
Very dare you. I thought this was on Atari too, but I guess I'm crazy. Anyway, my next one jumps way ahead in the alphabet, and that would be Shark Shark.
Oh,
I like Shark
that is
Shark.
Last on my list.
Oh, cool. Yeah, I've got 3 past that one alphabetically.
Holy
so.
son of a bitch bastard.
Yeah. Shark Shark is great, and it's unique to Intellivision.
It is. Yep.
It's your little fish. It's like, I don't know, fish katamari almost, right? Because you're a little fish and you eat fish and you get bigger, and that lets you eat bigger fish, and you can like nibble on this shark's tail and piss him off, and it's a really fun game. There's not a whole lot to it. It's just one of those really basic concepts that works really well for what it does. This was one that I do not actually own this one. That makes me sad. Because this is kind of one of the Intellivision games that I think a lot of folks think of when they think of the Intellivision brand. Yeah. But
this probably would have made the starter kit as well, because it's relatively affordable, right? And it is like one of those singularly identifiable Intellivision titles, right?
Yeah, it's very Intellivision.
Yeah, it's a great name. Shark Shark is a fucking awesome name for a game. That's great.
Well done.
And they like the what is it? The like itch.io and whatever. There's been a bunch of games that have kind of copied this formula throughout the years, right? Of you eat something, you get a little bigger so that you can eat the next thing, get a little bigger, right? Yeah. And you know, like you said, Katamari is like that too. Yeah, like no,
I wonder if this is the start of that. Like, I can't think of an earlier game that utilizes that concept.
I would have to imagine. I mean, this came out in '82. This was a Mattel game from 1982. I would have to imagine, right?
I'd be very curious to see if I could find an answer to that. Not right now, obviously, but
it's also a pretty, for the time, for 1982, it's a pretty good looking game. Like all of the different little aquatic creatures and whatnot, like they all are pretty identifiable to what you're not like really stretching the imagination to be like, well, I think those things are, you know, a lobster. Like, no, it fucking looks like a lobster.
It looks pretty good, all things
or
it's
whatever. Fuck. What did you think the scorpions look like in fucking Pitfall? Yeah, the aardvarks, right? Like, you're not stretching it that way, you know? You're like, oh, that's a fish, and that's a that type of fish, and that's a fucking that type of fish. That's a lobster. That's a shark. Yeah. It's a good game.
Yeah, but, I love that one.
Yeah, Shark is dope.
So you said that was on your list?
That is the last game on my list, because the next game on my list, Chris, is Burger Time. At which, you know, you knew it was going to be on my list. I fucking love Burger Time. I talk about Burger Time all the time. I think Burger Time might be my favorite old school arcade game. I think it might be. Like, I think I finally, at 45, am comfortable enough in my own skin to admit that. Right? You don't
look. Burger Time is phenomenal. It's
fucking great.
Such a good arcade game.
And the Intellivision port is really good.
It is a very solid port of Burger Time, and I think the reason that I didn't pick it really just kind of depends on how you're looking at this. Like, if we're looking at it as, is this just one of the best Intellivision games all around? Maybe. Is it the best? Like, right now, if you were to play an Intellivision, what would be the point of playing the Burger Time on Intellivision other than to be able to say you played this version of Burger Time, because it is a lesser version of Burger Time. Like, yeah, it's.
I mean, you're not wrong.
I feel like it doesn't with the arcadey type stuff, like the ports. what struck me about them a lot was that there's such lesser versions of those things because of the controller. Like if I'm gonna play an Intellivision, I might consider playing Burger Time, but at that point, why am I going to play Burger Time here when I could play the arcade version, right? Because that's readily available in the world now.
Yeah.
The NES version, which is far better. Like there are just so many better ways to play Burger Time. I had a hard time putting something like that in this essentials list for Intellivision because there are experiences that I thought were so much more specifically Intellivision than that. You know what I mean?
I do get that.
I'm not saying that. I'm not saying you're wrong. I'm just arguing
why
that didn't make my list. So, like, with Atari, yes, there are other ways to play California games, but the Atari version of California games is specific to the Atari 2600. Same with Junior Pac-Man. Like, I could play the arcade version of Junior Pac-Man, but it is very different from the 2600 game, which I think is better. So that's kind of why those landed there. Whereas this one, I just kind of stuck with things that scream Intellivision specifically to me.
I get that.
That said, this is a great port of Burger Time.
It's a great
port. It looks the part. It sounds the part.
It sounds good. It does control pretty well. Everything you just said, you're not going to like the next game on my list either then.
Well, that's not to say I don't like it. I love Burger Time. I wish it was better at Burger Time. But
I do want to get better at Burger Time.
I hoard pepper. Like, I'm always so afraid to use the pepper because you have such limited ammo. So I end up hoarding pepper, and then like I also am always going for the trick where if you like flatten an ingredient while an enemy is walking on it, the whole thing goes down. So I'm always aiming for that. I'm very impatient in that respect, and way too patient in the pepper hoarding department. Like, and then I wind up just dying because that game just doesn't like me. And the second stage gets so much harder. I don't remember this is that
it really does
one, because like the first stage is just a rectangle, and the second stage it comes down to that funnel, and like so you got to start like I got to get out of here immediately, or I'm gonna get trapped. Like,
there's a lot of bullshit right from jump,
right out of the gate. Love it. Good pick.
Yeah, I like it.
All right. My third game, I kind of feel like is, I don't know. I love this game, and I've always liked this game. This is another one that I've played via emulation in the past, and I booted it up today just to see if I still liked it. I was like, yeah, no, this is great. It's Snafu.
I didn't get to Snafu. Tell me about Snafu.
Snafu is basically the Intellivision version of Surround, or like Tron Like Cycles, basically. Except it's 4 players, where there's 4 characters on the screen, and you are a line, and you draw a line, and then you want to basically not touch anyone else's or your own line, and so you just kind of race around and try to trap your enemies and call it a day. It's a very simple concept, but it's extremely fun. And there's just, I don't know, there's something about the look and sound of the Intellivision one that, you know, it's the name Snafu that works really well. And I don't know, I've always liked this one. This is one of the few games that really just reminds me very specifically of the Intellivision. And I had this cartridge as well. And like I said, I plugged it into my system today and tried. I have this rectangle controller. Yeah, and yeah, it was a good time. I had a ball with it for about 5 or 10 minutes, and I was like, yeah, this is good. I like this one. This is a solid game, and it's got its own personality. And even though the disc sucks, it's still very doable. So yeah, yay Snafu.
All right. Yeah, I know absolutely nothing about that, but I will check it out. Because the next game on my list is another arcade port. A very fucking expensive arcade port. And had I checked the price before we started recording, I might have put something else on here. But I went with Dig Dug. Because if Burger Time is my favorite arcade game, Dig Dug is pretty close to the second spot, if not firmly in that second spot. I really, really love Dig Dug. I think it's a super, super fun game. And the Intellivision port is really, really good. It's just really solid. I mean, what is there to say?
I haven't played the Intellivision version.
It looks good. It sounds good. You know, And it should, right? Like, this came out in 1987, so we're getting towards.
So this is a late one.
This is like one of the later releases for the Intellivision. But yeah, it's a really, really solid port of a really super fun arcade game. So, Dig Dug it is.
Yeah, I'm looking at a video of it, and it looks pretty nice. I wonder what So No Swear Gamer had, at the time that he reviewed it, he had been ranking like all the Intellivision games.
Okay.
At some point, this was 6 years ago when he reviewed Dig Dug, and he placed it at number 9.
Like all time on the list?
Looks like it. Yeah. So again,
I'll take that.
Just at the point that he had gotten, right? Because he was doing it one game at a time. So it looks like it beat out Beam Rider, which again, I didn't know Beam Rider was on Intellivision. That's interesting.
It's not a good version. For some reason, when I was sitting down to do this week, I was like, man, I think the Intellivision version of Beam Rider is really good. I think I've heard that somewhere. And if I had heard that somewhere, it was incorrect. Because it's not a great version of Beam Rider.
Unsurprising. I have found that a lot of games that are on other platforms on Intellivision weren't necessarily the greatest versions of them.
Yeah.
All right. Well, my fourth game is really great, and I really wish I owned this one physically. This is the other one that I had to play through Shmemulation today, which I have played in the past, which I've always liked, is called Thunder Castle.
Okay.
This game is so heckin' cool. A lot of people put Lock and Chase really high on their list of best Intellivision games.
Yeah.
And I messed around with that, and if you're gonna, for my money, if you're gonna do a maze game on Intellivision, you've got to do Thunder Castle. So Thunder Castle is it's a I want to say Pac-Man-esque. It really isn't a specifically like Pac-Man. It's not really about claiming territory so much, but it's like you have this. You start off in this forest maze, and there's this really cool looking dragon running around, and you've got to navigate this maze and kill bats. And you've got a shield, and the woods keep forming and blocking your path around you, and then you get a key. You go into there's more dragons. You go into a castle which has all these skulls all over the place. Again, this is a game that I'm not very good at. But it's really cool looking. It's interestingly well animated. Like the dragon looks really cool when you kill it. And there's wizards walking around, and this is a very neat game. If you haven't tried this one, I definitely recommend it. It's as far as I know, it only ever came out on Intellivision. And it is you're right. It's really cool.
It's a really good looking game very early on. This is 1982. This is, early on. Not the beginning of Intellivision, right? But pretty early. Dig Dug, we're talking 87. This looks just as good as Dig Dug does. I think, it's a solid looking game. This is one that where I so inclined to play more Intellivision games, and I don't think I'm going to be. This is one that I think I would spend some more time with. I don't think I felt enough from it to be like, yes, this should be on my list.
Yeah, no,
but it is very cool
definitely
looking.
On my list. Apparently, this got ported to the Xbox 360 at one point.
Really?
Huh. Yeah. So this was
son of a bitch bastard.
Yeah, it was originally developed by Mattel. Let me see. What is the 361 one? Is the same? Oh, there's no screenshots of the 361 on Moby Games. It's one of those. It's just a fascinating little game. It's a really fascinating game that on another platform I would spend more time with. There was an
with
Intellivision
a different
Evercade,
controller.
There's an Evercade cart with Intellivision stuff, which I'm pretty sure has this on it. This is a solid and interesting old game, which it's just very unique to the Intellivision. It just screams that system to me. I think if you're going to play a maze game of the Pac-Man ilk, again, not that this is exactly like Pac-Man, but it's kind of that variety. I think this is the one to go with.
All right. Well, the last game, because it was Shark, but the last game that I have on my list is actually exclusive to the ColecoVision. As far as I can tell, I did a bunch of looking today to try and see if it's been anywhere else. But given my love for Burger Time, the unofficial sequel Diner has made my list because Diner is really fucking cool. Have you played Diner, Kris?
No, I haven't played Diner before.
Okay, so Diner takes Burger Time and puts it into like an isometric 3D-ish kind of thing where you have to like kick shit down the stairs to make submarine sandwiches.
This is weird looking.
Yeah. It's fucking
it's
cool.
Called Diner the Burger Time sequel.
Yes. It's like the 3D, the isometric-ish-ness of it is really strange because then there are parts that really don't feel isometric as you're playing it. This was a 1987 joint as well, so it looks very good. It sounds very good. This is a super fucking cool game that, like I said, as far as I can tell, is nowhere else other than the Intellivision.
Yeah, it's looks like this actually wound up in the 10 spot for No Swear Gamer. This was
cool.
Way later, so
yeah,
that was the. Yeah, like I don't even see Beam Rider in his top 10 on here anymore. So
it's super weird.
A bunch of stuff.
It's super weird that a sequel to like one of the most popular arcade games of all time has never appeared anywhere else. That's like a really weird thing.
Associates, and yeah, it's just only been on Intellivision.
And like it's made by Data East. They put games fucking everywhere. Like,
well, it wasn't made by them. It was actually
published
made
by Data East.
According to Moby Games, it was published by Intellivision.
Oh, was it? Then it was developed by Data East, wasn't it?
I have developed by Real Time Associates.
Isn't that Data East?
Don't believe so.
Oh, maybe I'm wrong then. I thought there was Data East. Oh, whatever. The fuck do I know?
I mean, it must have been licensed by Data East because it's definitely Peter Pepper. It's a sequel to Burger Time. Let's see, for use with any Intellivision, blah, blah, blah. What's the back of the box look like? Trademark of Data East, used under license. So yeah, look at that. They licensed the character, but they made it for the Intellivision. That's pretty neat. What are the credits here? Ray Kastner.
Whoa, the Ray Kastner?
Let's see, what else has he done?
Burger Time.
Yeah, 1983, the Intellivision version of Burger Time. He did Masters of the Universe, Super Pro Football, Diner, Mountain Madness, Super Pro Skiing. So yeah, he did a small handful of Intellivision games. That seems to be just about it.
I mean, I'm a boy from Jersey. Of course I put a game fucking called Diner on my list if that was...
Of course you did.
Like, if it was even remotely playable, that was making the list. It just happens to be a really solid game, and it might actually be my favorite game on the Intellivision because it is, like I said, so much of my list... Shark isn't anywhere else, and it's kind of a uniquely Intellivision thing. But a sequel to Burger...
It's really cool. I was completely unfamiliar with this game.
It's great. Diner is my top choice.
Huh. Well, my final choice, I don't know if it's my top choice, but my final choice is Tron Deadly Discs.
Yeah.
I like this game. I hadn't really messed around with it before. I'm a sucker for Tron. And
it's good.
I turned it on and I was enjoying myself. And then the big space paranoid showed up in the middle. I was like, yeah, okay, I like this. I like this a lot.
Yeah, it's good.
And I found myself sticking with it for way longer than I expected. Because, I started playing. I was like, yeah, okay, this is okay. This is kind of fun. This is okay. This is the game that I was having a lot of trouble with the aiming,
right?
Because of this stupid controller, the numeric
not what you
keypad
want in a Tron game.
Not so much, but I got the hang of it, and I couldn't put it down. Like I just kept going, which is I didn't expect to have as much fun with as I did, but I really did. So it wound up making the list. Took some time, but I did it, and once I was done, I took stock of everything that I'd played, and was like, yeah, no, I really liked this one. This is definitely one of the recognizer. That's what it's called. This is definitely up there for me. I rather enjoyed it.
I think it's interesting that no sports games made either of our lists when it was kind of known for sports games, right? Like, or am I misremembering that?
No, yeah, sports games were definitely what this was known for at the time. Because these sports games on this were far more realistic looking than the ones on Atari.
But it didn't make either of our lists?
No. Because I just don't really like them all that much.
Yeah.
So we got some feedback on these, huh? Do we want to go over prices or what? Yeah, let's go over the prices.
So give me your list in alphabetical order with your prices, so we can see who is a fancy bitch.
According to price charting, Astro Smash is going for loose $4.08. Complete in box $8.95. Shark goes for $12 or $27.49. Snafu, all of $3.62 or $10 for complete. Thunder Castle, $25.24 or $61.11 complete. And Tron Deadly Discs is $5.97 or $15.15. I mean, I think you've got me beat on price for sure.
so beat on price. So I'm just adding up my complete in box, because whoo boy, does Diner really push that over the edge. So Beauty and the Beast, loose is $5, complete in box is $12. Burger Time loose $9, complete in box $16. Dig Dug, like I said, had I realized before we did this, I probably would have put like maybe Popeye or something, or like Space Patrol, I don't know, fucking something else on there. Dig Dug is $35 loose and $76 complete in box. Diner, the only one who I think is maybe worth the price, $36 loose, $88 complete in box. And Shark, like you said, $12 or $28 complete in box, which would put my loose titles at $97, or complete in box collection for my standout list is $220 fucking dollars.
Never for Intellivision stuff. Not in a
Do
million
not
years.
spend that much money on Intellivision shit. Just don't.
Cannot say I'm a fan.
No.
Don't see myself going back to it. I'm still glad I own the system, because it is a very interesting piece of history.
Yeah.
But, I should sell off my
It was
extras.
fine. It was fine. I really like Diner. And maybe if I had spent some more time over this last month, but life continues to happen and there's other shit to play. And nothing really grabbed me. So I cheaped out a little bit and went with some arcade ports that I know are safe, but I had a good time. And I do think, like, if you're going to play games on the Intellivision, these are games you should play. Like, I do stand by my picks,
Mm-hmm.
I just don't think the Intellivision was all that special. And maybe that's because I didn't grow up with it, Maybe that's because
maybe if I had some nostalgia for it, but
I just don't.
See it. It's not for me. It's not my thing. Yeah. It does not excite me. But I am really glad that we did this. Like, I had a lot of fun figuring this out and hooking the old Intellivision up and finally giving it a proper go and experiencing this, blank spot in game history. And I played a bunch of games, because I have a lot of Intellivision games.
It's nice and easy, too, because you can just, like, with these old games, right, you can just jump in for, like, I know within 5 or 10 minutes what I'm looking at here. It's really not going to change all that much.